This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Haba. We continue in Mishna Berura, Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Yud, Sif Yud Aleph. Sudar shenoisem al atzav machas Eretz Yisrael shenikra ba'arvi shid v'chein buka shenoisem b'sfard al kesveim turin. Here's the deal: a handkerchief, a garment that they wore around their neck, or something they put on their shoulders. It's four-cornered. It's pater from tzitzis. Why? Because that doesn't cover their body. It covers their neck. Something that covers, that's designated for a garment for your neck, is pater from tzitzis. And that's a good thing, because imagine if you had to put tzitzis on a scarf. It could get very stringy, you know? So a four-cornered scarf is pater from tzitzis. Says the Mishna Berura, Peturin, Av shahaya machzik oisa hachaticha ka'ama al yamasayim. Even though that piece is about an amma or 2 amma, v'yesh k'dei lechasis rosh berura shel katan. And it's big enough to cover the head and the majority of the body of a minor. Afil hachi peturin v'ayin beber halacha. So this is very interesting. Why is it pater? Mishna Berura doesn't say. So the Bir Halacha says, I am in Mishna Berura, v'atam lezeh kazu beis Yosef, she'ikar avos hasudorim heim medchilahu k'dei le'sati pem svus harosh m'nei ha'kov lasit sel ha'rosh b'zman ha'choim. It's because it's made for the head. It's made to keep the head warm in the winter and cool in the summer. V'gam l'chasos b'harosh b'hachasichos ha'beged be'ishu oil l'kor b'Torah. And to cover your head when you get called up for the Torah. V'l'chein av sh'roi v'ayom ha'mavi ala guf. The Beis Yosef says, even though the majority of the day it's on your body, shuv havlik susroi shapater, but it's designated for the head, so you're exempt. The Bir Halacha says other reasons why you're pater. Really, it's like an all-utility cloth that you're wearing on you. You know, like the Hatzalah guys, they have the belt, and on the belt they have like 500 different things. They have like a popcorn machine. They have, cotton candy. They have a walkie-talkie. They have keys, knives, all kinds of they have everything there. Everything's there. So this cloth is, it's a garment just, for whatever you might need. For example, you need to carry something, you use that garment. You need to wipe your hands. You use that garment. You need a wallet, you use the garment. You need like a wristband, a sweatband. It's like an all-purpose, item. It's not a garment. It's like a Swiss Army knife in the guise of a garment. Says Bir Halacha, according to this latter reason, it would seem like the Magen Avram and the Gra go along with it. Says Bir Halacha, it would seem now that this is in vogue again, and yet we don't have any of these reasons that are applicable. Namely, it's not meant only for the head, to cover your head. It's not meant to keep you cool. It's not meant as an all-utility garment. You'd be chayiv. The Beis Yosef brings another reason. And the other reason the Beis Yosef is only a garment that you wear, not a garment that you drape. Or because it's just a garment for respect. Some argue on these reasons. And therefore, therefore, if you're going to wear this thing, you should corner off one garment. So basically, there are a number of reasons given why this garment worn on the head is pater. The Beis Yosef says it's because it's meant for the head. So that reason l'chayr would apply to our scarf. Our scarf is meant for the neck, not meant for the guf. Now I don't know if that's pashut, because just because something is meant for the roish, we didn't have that. Is it savar part of the roish and not part of the guf? Maybe. The other svara is that the garment that the Mechaber is talking about was used for many things. Used for carrying, it's used for wiping your hands, it's used for money. That does not apply to our scarf. Although I never heard that people corner off a corner of their scarf. Certainly the latter reason of the Be'er Halacha, that it's not meant to wear but just to drape, that would apply to a scarf. Okay, let's continue in Sif Yud Beis. We'll do part of this today. Malbushim Mitzrayim, Egyptian garments. I see a lot of people today who in their closets, I could tell they have Egyptian garments. Hanikra is guchash. It's called guchash, which is the perfect name for such a garment. V'chein mintigi v'dalamanish v'kaptanish upedinish shebetagarma. These Turkish garments. Afal pi sheish lahem daled kinafim pturim. Even though they have 4 corners, they are exempt. Says Rama, v'uadin malbushim shel gelilas b'nei Ashkenaz u'Sfarad. Why? This doesn't only apply to Egyptian and Turkish garment, but what about Germanic or Spanish? If it's not meant to have 2 corners in the front, 2 in the back, but it has 4 corners, but it's sort of sporadic, that would be exempt from tzitzis. Let's begin Sivkatan Lamed Vav. Sivkat Lamed Hein Lamed Vav. Afal pi sheish lahem hatam ayin bebeis Yosef. For the reason, look in the Beis Yosef. I believe the next Mishna Berura quotes the Beis Yosef. Hol ve'ein. This is going on the Rama. The Rama says, and these other garments that are not made with 2 in the front and 2 in the back are pater. Says the Mishna Berura, Dinei kasav Hinei ha-Beis Yosef kasav. The Beis Yosef writes, Yesh ledakdek b'mabushim shalanu sheishtam shtei knafay samach letzavar u'shnei kavay samach la'aretz. What do you do about these garments? They have 2 corners by the neck. I guess, I don't know, something like this. And then 2 corners on the bottom. Lama in matil mehem tzitzis. Why don't we put tzitzis? Again, our typical tzitzis, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. But what about 2 on the top? And maybe he's referring to a shirt even. Or we could apply it to a shirt. It has 2 corners on the bottom, not in the back, in the front. And I think we also had buttoning is not considered sealing it up. So why don't shirts, why aren't they chayv and tzitzis? V'tireit al zekam terutzim. The Beis Yosef gives many reasons. V'dacha isam adarchei Moshe. And the Darchei Moshe pushes them off. Amar hu tam la'minag. The Darchei Moshe says the following reason. Since the mitzvah of tzitzis is to put 2 strings in front of you and 2 behind you, and in our garments, I'll go with the shirt example. You have 2 corners in the front, and 2 on the top, and 2 on the bottom, but they're all in front of you. There's no other way to wear them. This is what the Rama means. Since their corners are not made to be 2 in the front and 2 in the back. A garment called a ruck, which on the bottom it says a me'il, shemechubar lamala, that attached to it above, chatichas beged merubas, is a square patch, a square garment. Umunach hakseifa me'acharav, then it's placed on your shoulders behind you. Shekarin kalaner, which is the collar. Pashut hu de pater. Sharei letzad mala in loy knafos. On top there are no corners. Rak kanfos hakalener hamunachim like sas me'acharav. You have the corners of this neckline that are placed a little bit behind you. Ve'ein zeh kronos, that's not a corner. Ho ve'ein shnei kronos sheme'acharav mechuvanos neged haknafos shalafanav. Since the corners behind you are not aligned with the corners in front of you. Ad kan l'shana darkei Moshe. Exactly what this is not clear, but I think our shirt would be a very good example. I mean, the shirt has two corners. Why is this not two corners? How is this not two corners? And on the bottom, even in the front, it has two corners. It's buttoned all the way down. I mean, a button is not an attachment, so there are two corners on the bottom, but it's not two corners in front of you and two corners behind you. But the Magen Avram says this is not clear. V'kasav Magen Avram yan sha'alacha zu roifefes b'dei ha'go'inim. Since this halacha is weak in the domain of the go'inim, le'matzu tamnach, we don't really have a clear reason. Ki gam tam darkei Moshe yishafag harbe. The darkei Moshe's reason is questionable. A God-fearing person should corner off a corner of their shirt. Now, I don't know anyone personally who does that. And again, I don't think he's specifically talking about our shirt. But here's another example. A kapota. Anyone here wear a kapota on Shabbos? They're slit in the middle and the back. I mean, that's two corners. And then in the front, there are two corners. And that's pretty aligned. I think it's pretty aligned. So, what do you do about that? Do you put tzitzis in your kapota? I mean, I think that we should start this custom. We should put a full page ad in the newspaper, a kol koirei, that all people who wear kapotas should put tzitzis on it. Or shouldn't wear them. You know that's called. That would be defrocking a lot of people. There's an English expression. I'm just joking. But what do you do about a kapota? So the Mishna Berura says, "V'prapi yameinu ba'osin habagadim shenagu meichadash la'asoisan pasuach me'achareim." Especially in our times, those garments that the minhag is to make them open in the back. V'hu ha'beged hanikra kapota. On the bottom it says a frock. Umatzu kampam sheruba pasuach. So you say, well, come on, that's not an issue. It's only a small slit. It's not rubai pasuach. We already had this many times. That if it's mostly closed, then it's pater. Now, I don't know people that have a frock that's mostly open. I mean, that must be a spitz frock. I don't think they make those kind of frocks. Again, I think they're mostly rubai sasam. But therefore the Mishna Berura says, Alkena roitz liftar atzmai, if you want to exempt yourself, mechuyev lasei sham al kapanim, keren achas me'oisen arba knafos agula, v'si pater menat tzitzis. You should round off one corner, and then it would be exempt. K'la'el b'sivtes v'ayin sham be'alacha v'yosetov, sheya'agal oid shtei kronos. K'dei shedishar rak bas shalosh, ki ata hi bas shisha. Says the Mishna Berura, the truth is it has 6 corners. So you should round off 3 of them. Now what are the 6 corners? You have 2 in the back behind. You have 2 in the front. What are the other 2? On the top or in the back? I think in the back. No? No, you have 2 behind. You have a slit. In other words, it's like... I don't think he's talking about up here. I think he's talking about, it's like 2 vents in the back. You have 1 in the middle, and then you have 4 on the back, and 2 in the front. That's what I would think. The bottom line is, why don't we have to worry about tzitzis on our shirt? So, l'chayra, you have the Ramah and the Darkei Moshe, that it's not 2 in the front and 2 in the back. But what about the fact that the Magen Avram says that this is not clear and a God-fearing person should corner it off? I guess it's not, I guess it's a nice chumrah, but, it ain't going to work with the styles. But is there any other reason why a shirt does not require tzitzis other than the Ramah, that it's not aligned, 2 in the front, 2 in the back? We'll have to look into that further. I'm going to wish you all a great day. Bracha v'hatzlacha, and take care. Kol tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.